Hello folks, thank you for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give the video a like, a comment, and if you want to see more just like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you don't miss an upload. Alright, back to the video. Oh, hello folks, long time no see. It's nice to be back on camera again, and I think I owe you a video in terms of an update and what I've been up to. Because one, I don't want you guys to think that I'm not doing the show anymore. Obviously I am, as you may have seen on my social media posts. If you guys want to see what I'm up to, I recommend you follow me on Instagram and Twitter using the Affro show. And of course, you know, I kind of want to give you guys, for those of you who don't use social media, what my plans are for the future. So with that, let's get on with the video. First things first folks, where the hell have I been? Well, basically now, I currently work in a warehouse full time and I have 4 nights on and 4 nights off. So in the 4 nights that I have on, I'm basically working 12-hour shifts, and this happens continually for the next 4 days when I start my first shift of that week. The 4 nights I basically can't do anything, and then when I have my first day off, I'm tired as hell. So my body has to readjust and get all the energy back from the shifts, and then when I finally get the energy back, I've got roughly 2 to 3 days to do, well, whatever I want to do. So time is a lot more limited now, and I can't dilly-daddle basically. So what I've been doing for the past few weeks is I've been recording tons and tons of videos, and I've also been compiling them all up. I've been writing scripts like no tomorrow. I've already done 3 of the 4 scripts that I want to achieve at least for this month, so I've got 1 more to do. And then I've been kind of looking into my collection, seeing what kind of games I think you guys would be interested in. Of course, not only that, I've also been planning for season 4 in the next year, for when this season is done. And at the same time, you'll have to see this in the B-roll, but now I've got a capture card now. It's called the Elgato HD game capture, which is the very first product they made, not the HD60S or the HD60 or the 4K 60 Pro and whatever else they make today. Point is, I've got a lot of new things for the games channel here. I've got a lot to consider and do, trying to make it so that all of my consoles use the HDMI port on the capture card, because that records at 30 megabytes per second. Whereas if you use the analog port, which you can do on the capture card and it will work, it only records at 11 megabits per second, pardon me. So the picture doesn't look anywhere near as crisp. So I'm trying to sort that out at the same time. Anyway though folks, despite all that, all's going well. I'm looking forward to starting this show again in December. So from the first week in December, you will see a video drop. And I'm aiming to upload a video every single week until basically my catalogue is done. Then I'm going to move all of my editing from Sony Vegas to DaVinci Resolve, and of course that will be the beginning of season 4. So hopefully that will be good. In other news, now that you know exactly what's happening with me, the channel, and of course the content in the future, I'd like to show you some of the gaming pickups that I, picked up recently. Starting with this PlayStation 2 demo disc. Yes, as you guys know, I love my demo discs episodes, and of course I had to get some more, especially on PS2, because I haven't got many of them. I've only got about 6 or 7, and only about 2 of them have cases with them. So this one's special though, because this is in black. All of my demo discs are in blue, and some of them have writing up here somewhere, but this one is black, so it must mean it's special, right? And it's 12, look, it's even 12 plus. See? This is going to be good, honestly. And I've never owned this before, so this will be new to me and to you folks possibly. So stay tuned for that. Next, we have a game that I will be covering on my Affro's Curiosities episodes, Ace Combat 3. Now recently I completed my Ace Combat PS2 trilogy basically, and I felt really happy about that, so I knew I had to go back to the PS1 Ace Combat games and get them sorted. So Ace Combat 3, this is the European version. I already know the Japanese version of this said game is the superior game, and I do have an English hacked version on the PS1 emulator, which I will show in the Ace Combat 3 video, but obviously I'm not Japanese, my PS1 and PS2 are not region free, so this is the best I could do, but it's still a fantastic looking game despite the issues it has, but I'll cover that in more detail very soon. So next, this is the most recent game I bought, Dino Crisis 2. Now I need to get the first one as well because that's a very special game as well, but to have the, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically to have the knowledge that I have this game and to know that I finally have it after all these years makes me feel special and humble, and honestly just, you know, I just feel great that I finally got it. It cost me 20 quid, so it wasn't cheap, but you know, considering what this game is, what it means and how I've always wanted it, I think it was worth it. And yes, I will cover that, although not in this season, unfortunately. So if you're looking forward to seeing me cover that this season, wait until next season, and I need to get Dino Crisis 1 anyway first. Next up, my most recent Sega Saturn game, Exhumed. Yes, another first-person shooter by the crazy people but geniuses at Lobotomy. Yep, remember that company? They did the Sega Saturn port of Quake and Duke Nukem 3D, which I've already covered in my 10 Sega Saturn games video, and they did Exhumed as well, which was also known as Power Slave in the United States. This also was on the PS1, but I had to get the Sega Saturn version. Not cheap, cost me £30, but as you can see, good condition box. And if I open this up quickly, even though the disc unfortunately does come loose a little bit, you can see that if I hold it, there you are, pretty good. So complete in box, decent condition, works well by the way, and I will be covering this in my upcoming 10 more Sega Saturn games video, so look forward to this being included. Now folks, it's time to cover the PlayStation 2 games I recently bought, starting with this. This is Tomb Raider Anniversary. Oh, I got that right, you didn't even look at it. So, I actually own this game already. I've owned this game on the PC before, and the PlayStation 2, and the Wii, excuse me. But I've always wanted the PS2 version. You know, I prefer the DualShock 2 controller compared to the DualShock 3 on the PC, and mouse and keyboard of course. And of course the Wii controls were, you know, serviceable, but not my favourite. So I'm happy to get this. Very cheap, cost me £2 I believe, or was it £1.50? It was all together, but got this from CX and I'm happy to have this, so I will be playing this soon. The next game we're going to look at is the predecessor to Anniversary, but the game that brought back Tomb Raider from the brink, shall I say, is Tomb Raider Legend. Now I've played this game numerous times before on the PC and on the PS2 when I used to borrow it from a friend, but I finally got it for myself, and I remember how much fun I used to have playing it all those years ago. I think it was 12-13 years ago recording this video. But this is a great game, and I can't wait to cover it for you guys on the channel one day, but I've been playing it a bit, and it kind of reminds me how much fun I used to have looking forward to the next games coming up for the PlayStation 2, and gaming in general for that matter. Next up is a game I haven't played for 17 years and never owned until today. Airblade for the PS2, and believe it or not, and I didn't know this, it was made by Criterion Games. Yes, the same people who make Burnout. So that was a shock, but I remember this game on a demo disc that I had. It was the very first demo disc I had on PS2, and in actuality, that was the first gaming disc I ever had, and Airblade was on it. So I never found this game until a week ago, and it was 50p in CX, so I couldn't pass this up. And look, despite it being 17 years old, complete, and its condition isn't too bad. So hopefully this will be a lovely pickup, and one day I will cover it for the channel. Next up, we have a game that was partially inspired by the Resident Evil franchise made by Capcom and used the same core mechanics in terms of its presentation. Yep, this is Onimusha Warlord, and it's actually the first game in the series, so it's meant to be like a Japanese samurai action game, but obviously uses the template that sets Resident Evil and in actuality that as well, Devil May Cry. So you could say this is Devil May Cry, but using well, a Japanese samurai sword combat style instead of guns and, you know, Dante's sword. But I've heard good things about it despite that, and it looks good. You know, the box looks good, the back looks good, and I've always wanted this game. I saw some gameplay on GameSack, so hopefully this will be living up to the hype that I've set myself for it. And last but not least, one of my favourite game franchises of all time I've now completed on the PS2 in its trilogy. Yes, Colin McRae Rally 3. Colin McRae Rally 3, 04 and 2005 were some of my most played games back in the day, but although I've owned 2005 and 04 on PC as well as PS2, I never owned 3 on either system or the Xbox since it did come out on Xbox. So I'm happy to say finally I've got the trilogy of Colin McRae Rally games on the PlayStation 2, and I love Colin McRae. I still feel sad when I think about him because of course he died 12 years ago now, and his legacy continues on today. So I'm very happy to finally have this in my collection, and yes, it's a lot of fun. So that's basically the update for you guys, and of course an update to my collection of games. Of course, if I get any more, I'll make another one like this, and of course I'll keep you guys up to date on social media on what's happening with me, my life and the channel. But the gist of it, expect more content in December through January through possibly February. Season 4 will be coming later on in the next year, and I will be moving to DaVinci Resolve. And of course you saw my retro game pickups there, which I think in total equate to about £70. So take what you will from that, but until then folks, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. You know what to do if you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you want to see more, or if you want to be up to date on what's coming next. And until my next video folks, I will see you next time.